What it do, what it do, how y'all feeling? Welcome, this is Ash Neil's Radio. I am your host, Ash Neil. That is I, so we talking to y'all. Yes. Alan Dershowitz and Bassem Youssef was on Piers Morgan's show to discuss the one and only Epstein files. Yes, these Epstein files are whooping people's ass. And if you have any kind of association with them, doesn't mean that you're guilty. But people got questions. Yeah. And I guess it got a little spicy. A little bit. Of course, Bassem said something, and Alan tried to sue. I don't know if he did. We're going to figure it out later. But I do want to go into this because we are trying to figure out why people across the pond are being held accountable, and a lot of our people over here in the United States are getting away. So let's go ahead and go into this video with the creep. I'm sorry, I have to say it, but look at this face. Just look at this face. I can't.
And Jeffrey Epstein's former lawyer, and comedian and activist Bassem Youssef. Well, welcome to both of you. Alan Dershowitz, I know you said emphatically you do not believe Jeffrey Epstein was a spy, but as more and more stuff appears in these document dumps from the files, there is more and more stuff linking him to Israel, to Ehud Barak, to all sorts of stuff. Are you still as certain?
More so. Look at the chronology. As far as I know, he doesn't meet Ehud Barak until after he pleads guilty. And if he had been a spy before he pleaded guilty, the first person he would have told that was me. I was trying to get him the best possible deal. And I asked him over and over again, what can you tell me that will get you a better deal? Do you have anything on Trump? Do you have anything on Clinton? Do you have anything about intelligence? He would have told me. Instead, in 1999, 1998, I was in Israel doing research for a book, and he called me from Paris saying, I want to come to Israel. I've never met any Israelis. I don't know anybody there. Could you arrange a lunch for me with Israel's 5 smartest people? And so I did. I got the Justice of the Supreme Court, the Attorney General, interesting people that I thought he would meet. And we had lunch, and then he and I took a walk in the shuk, and I bought him a T-shirt which said, I'm a member of the IDF, kind of khaki T-shirt, and he loved it. He wore it. There's no possibility that he
What's with the T-shirt? What's with the T-shirt? Was it like a joke? Inside joke? Was it like fake clearance? Huh? Come on, man. He looked like he's sweating.
Was working for intelligence at the time I was representing him. Now we have a chronological issue. He meets Ehud.
No, I'm not going to let that go. Who would wear a T-shirt that says I'm part of the IDF? Who would wear that? I'm telling you. I'm trying to do some research as this video's going. I'm trying to find something. But let's see.
Barak, but that's later. Did Mossad hire him after he was convicted? Well, maybe. Your previous guest talked about planes involving Victoria's Secret. Well, Wexner didn't buy Victoria's Secret until well after the early time. So one has to look at the dates. One has to look at the chronology. I hate to pour water on a fascinating conspiracy theory. It's so much fun to talk about. But from what I know, I just don't see any evidence that he ever worked for the Mossad. And if he did, why wouldn't he have told me? I actually was a lawyer. I represented the Mossad back in the 90s when 3 Mossad agents were caught in Cyprus, and Cyprus thought they were working for Turkey. In fact, they weren't, and I helped to get them out. I have a very good relationship with the current head of the Mossad, the former head of the Mossad. Obviously, I've asked them that question, and there's no evidence at all.
Alan, I would say this. Alan, I would say this to you. If I was to ask you about all the despicable crimes that Epstein was committing, right, you would say, because I think you've said it publicly, you didn't know about any of that, right? So, could it be that Jeffrey Epstein just had a completely different life that he just did not tell you about, and that included despicable human sex trafficking, and it may also have included being a spy. I mean, clearly, if he wasn't telling you about all the sex trafficking, which was a huge amount of his life, then why is it surprising if he kept the rest of it from you?
Exactly.
Well, it's very surprising because telling me about his sex life didn't help him. Telling me that he worked for the Mossad would have given him a get-out-of-jail-free card. Remember, Jeffrey Epstein hated me before he died. He wrote all kinds of letters to Woody Allen as to what a terrible lawyer I was. He wouldn't pay me my fee. He fired me because he thought I had gotten him a terrible deal, that famous sweetheart deal. He ended up 18 months in prison. He was outraged. He didn't want to spend a minute in prison. I could have gotten him no jail time. If he had told me he worked for the Mossad, for the CIA, he was an intelligence source, it would have been a slam dunk for me to go to whoever I had to go to, even up to the President of the United States, and I would have gotten him a deal with no time at all.
What? Are you serious? You're not serious. You got to be kidding me. Because I think you're lying right now, Alan. I think you're lying. You were Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer. You're taking credit for a sweetheart deal that Jeffrey Epstein didn't like. You are literally saying right now that you wish you knew that Jeffrey Epstein had ties to Mossad, because you would have got him a better deal. You would have got him no jail time. That's weird, first of all, right? That's weird. We just gonna, bruh, how? But how are you gonna be the only person who did not know about Epstein's ties to Mossad, or excuse me, allegedly, or Epstein's ties to intelligence? If that was the whole reason why Alex Acosta said he got the sweetheart deal, I'm just asking. You were what, today's years old when you found out that Jeffrey Epstein may have Mossad ties, Israel ties? Because we heard that Alex Acosta stated he got him a sweetheart deal because Jeffrey Epstein was with intelligence. Something like that. I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I don't believe you.
Epstein was a selfish SOB. He would do anything to avoid prison time. Why wouldn't he have told me that he worked for the Mossad if he worked for the Mossad? So, yeah, of course he's not going to tell me when I knew him as an academic acquaintance. He's not going to tell me he's having sex with young children. He hid that from everybody. He did have a separate life, a completely separate life. But once I was his lawyer, it was in his interest to tell me things that would benefit him. And I can't imagine anything benefiting him more than having worked for an intelligence agency.
How?
But I pressed him
I mean,
on
some
that,
people might
and
be.
he didn't.
I'll come to Bassem in a moment, but some people will be listening to this going, hang on a second, you mean if he'd said he was working with the Mossad or CIA, then he would get off being a paedophile? Right. In other words, you can commit crimes of paedophilia
he wasn't accused of being
children, and you would simply not go to prison for it.
What? Yeah.
That's right. Let's be clear. He was charged with 2 counts. One, a 17-year and 10-month-old woman who he paid for prostitution. The other, a woman in her 20s who was a prostitute.
Hold on. I got to bring this back. Hold on. What did he say?
Hang on a second. You mean if he'd said he was working with the Mossad or CIA, then he would get off being a paedophile? In other words, you can commit crimes of paedophilia
he wasn't accused of being
children,
he wasn't,
and you would simply not go to prison for it.
He didn't say it. He's a lawyer, so he's smart. He caught himself, but he was alluding to it. He wasn't charged with being a pedophile. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? He's gonna go into it. he literally stated, this is what Alan Dershowitz stated. Whoa, let's get the facts straight. He wasn't charged with being a pedophile. He was charged for being with a 17 and 10-month-old. All right. That's why we call you a creep. Shit. Okay, so let's see what happens, because he stated here, I don't care if you try to say, oh, I didn't say it fully or you took me out of cut. Nah. We just heard you right now state when you were representing him that he was not charged as a pedo. Let's hear you.
That's right. Let's be clear. He was charged with 2 counts. One, a 17-year and 10-month-old woman who he paid for prostitution. The other, a woman in her 20s who was a prostitute who he paid. Those were the only 2 things he pleaded guilty to. The only 2 things he's ever been convicted. He was never convicted of pedophilia. He was never convicted of trafficking. None of that.
So how is he not a part of the Mossad or Israel or intelligence? If a 17 and 10-month-old does not get you a pedophilia charge. How? Because in everybody else's mind, she's still a minor. No matter how much emphasis you put on those other 2 months that she ain't making it 18 yet. I don't care how much you say it. She's still a minor. So talk to us, Alan. Don't slip. Talk to us, because you're making the case that, yes, it's a little bit more to this Epstein story than what we know.
He may have done all of those things, but when I was representing him, all he was being charged with was these 2 counts of paying prostitutes, one who was 17 years old and 10 months. I could have gotten him no jail time for that if he had been a member of the Mossad. Any good lawyer could have parlayed his membership and his contribution to intelligence into a deal. Or, for example, if he had anything...
His intelligence. He's trying to, be coy. He's like, hey, anybody would have been able to use his intelligence to get him a good deal. That's what Alex Acosta did, stupid. No, he think we're stupid. Go on ahead, cook, Alan.
Anything on Donald Trump or anything on Bill Clinton, of course any prosecutor would exchange this nobody, who nobody had ever heard of at the time, getting free from prison for, my God, the president, former president, future president. No, the best evidence is that he never, ever tried to tell me anything that would help him, that would support any of these theories about Clinton or Trump or the Mossad. So I am completely confident that he was not an intelligence asset. I wish, your previous guest is right. He would have been a perfect intelligence asset if I were the head of the Mossad. I would say, oh my God, now that I know who he knew, Bill Gates, everybody, the Sultan of this, the Sultan of that, sure, we try to recruit him, but they didn't know that at the time because he didn't have many of those friends back in the 1980s and 1990s. Many of them became his friends, ironically, after he got out of prison.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all believe that? Y'all believe that? Do y'all believe that the what was he? Defense minister, I think, Ehud Barak. You think that he was just going out of nowhere make friends with a guy who just did 18 months for allegedly sleeping with a underage prostitute? You really want us to believe that relationship had just started? Come on, Alan. This is a very important individual. Like, come on. Like, we know that he was part of intelligence, right? But the company he kept, right? It's just like the average person would not have Ehud Barak calling them. Hey, bro, I heard you just got out. I heard you just did 18 months. You know what I'm saying? You want to chill? No, that's not a thing. That's not a thing, bro. These people were probably colluding before his sentence. Probably. I don't think that they just met. No, I don't believe you. Stop lying to us. But let's continue.
Okay, Bassem Youssef, you've been waiting patiently. Welcome back to Uncensored. What is your response to Alan Dershowitz?
Well, I think that what Mr. Alan Dershowitz just said is the best recruitment video for Mossad. Basically, they're telling people, if you're Mossad, you can get away with anything.
Right.
The same thing that what happened with Tom Alexandrovich, the cybersecurity guy from Netanyahu's government who was arrested in Nevada for trying to lure a minor in an FBI stint operation, and he got off the hook. He traveled, didn't even have to attend his trial. He did Zoom from Israel. And like Ori Solomon, just a couple of days ago, there was a biolab in Nevada that nobody is actually talking about. Actually, as a matter of fact, the mainstream media, they reported it, but they never mentioned his nationality as an Israeli who was running a biolab in Nevada that includes deadly viruses. If that was a Muslim, it would be like all over the news.
That's true. That's true. And it's literally right down the street from where I stay. When I heard this story, I was like, all right. What you mean? A biolab. Right? It kind of like went over my head. Then I started looking into it, and bro, the media was talking about it because this is how it started. I guess the owner, I want to say the building owner was a Chinese guy, Asian guy, right? So it became like news. Like, oh, wait. People start talking about it. Wait a minute. He had vials of COVID. Bro, he had vials of COVID, malaria, AIDS, all type of shit, right? Down the street from my house. Bro, I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on. Then when they found out that it was the building owner who was Asian, but the person that was renting the property who was in possession of all these bioweapons was Israeli. Oh, yeah, it got quiet. They got real quiet. They're not even talking about it. Now, I'm trying to figure out, like, wait a minute. Trip. The dude was here on some type of visa or something, I think, don't get me wrong. But he was not allowed. Prior to his arrest, he was not allowed to own any weapons. They found him with weapons and all these vials of viruses. Trip. They released him. They released this guy on OR, I think, on recognizance or something. So I'm like, help, wait a minute. Two things. Either Vegas is off the hook for a virus that was about to be, let out, or he's going home and he about to release that shit quick. I don't know, but it made me think. I had to go into the story like, what the fuck? Why nobody talking about it? And once I found out that his nationality, it made sense. Shit.
So basically, Mr. Dershowitz is telling us, if you're Mossad, you have like an out-of-jail card. And you know what? Maybe he's right.
Or a CIA.
I'm
or a
actually
CIA
watching,
agent. That's true.
Mr. Alan, Mr. Dershowitz, I did not interrupt you a single second when you talked. So,
I just wanted to
after
correct
you're
you.
done with the gaslighting, please let me finish. First of all, I think I'm now kind of leaning towards believing mainstream media, especially CBS and CNN under Barry Weiss and Larry Ellison. The evidence is there that he is actually a Russian asset. His girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was the daughter of a Mossad super spy. He was represented by you, Mr. Dershowitz, Israel's favorite lawyer, who you're also a lawyer to the Mossad, which, of course, everything you tell us will be true. Ehud Barak was at his place the whole time. He fled to Israel when he was charged with sex crimes. And he was pictured wearing an IDF shirt. He was funded by pro-Israel fanatics. He worked for the Rothschild. He donated to pro-Israel student groups. He was responsible for the Wagner's group's pro-Israel philanthropy. He supported Israel settlement projects. His friends were all Zionists. He referred to us as Goyim. He was involved in Israel diplomacy effort. He brokered security deals with Israel. And even a former Israeli intelligence officer, Ari Ben Menashe, like Mr. Ryan Grimm said, He said he ran a honeypot for Israel. So yes, of course, he was definitely a Russian spy. Makes sense. You know what? I'm by the way, Mr.
Well,
Allen,
you're a good comedian. You're a good
don't know me,
comedian. This
but
is
I'm
very
actually
funny.
a huge fan of yours because I have known you since the 2000s. I mean, actually, you're one of the very few lawyers who are actually known in the Middle East. It's like watching a real-life courtroom drama lawyer. There's even T-shirts with your face in it in Egypt. And I've followed you for a while. And that's why I'm here today. When they told me Mr. Dershowitz is here, I was like, I have to be here just for the gaslighting. Because the level of gaslighting isn't new. For more than 2.5 years, Mr. Dershowitz and his client, Israel, have gaslighted us in front of our eyes for 2.5 years with all of the destructions and the killing that we've seen in Gaza, but according to them, it's not a genocide, it's self-defense. He told us that every dead child is
not a genocide.
That the International Court of Justice, I did not interrupt you, sir. That the International Court of Justice is a fake court, and Israel critics and anti-Semitic. Now, Mr. Jersey, please, I did not interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. I know that you're a lawyer and you do that. Objection,
I'm
Your Honor.
Interrupt you
interrupt
if you
me.
use the word
now, the
genocide.
EPSTEIN files are public. People can read them. People can see the horrible stuff that you, again, are gaslighting us. In your own word, you said that he's not a pedophile because he liked 15 and 16 years old, but not 11 and 12 years old.
No, I said 17 and 10 months.
17
and 10
you
months.
Can read.
Yo, I didn't say that. I didn't say she was 8. I said she was 17. 10 months. He like that 10 month shit. He think that 10 months gets closer to 18, so it's not weird. Bro, it's still weird. It's still weird, Alan. Come on, man. Like, look at his face. He think, I got y'all with this. Like, y'all thinking that he's a pedophile, but he's not. The girl was 17 in 10 months. Fuck this.
The ages of the kids in the emails. They can read about the pizza, the ice cream, the beef jerky,
convicted.
and you can see the connection with Israel. And yet, here you are again, gaslighting us. This is your playbook, attacking the victims.
It's called
the Palestinians, Hamas,
it's
terrorists,
called truth.
EPSTEIN victims, liars, prostitutes, drama students, and of course,
you say Hamas are not terrorists?
You have a history
You say Hamas
of hiring
are not
investigators to dig through teenage girls at MySpace pages looking for marijuana
That's
photos.
what lawyers do.
You called a 16-year-old girl a thief in the Daily Mail. You got Epstein 13 months in county jail with work release for abusing 34 victims where he should have got life in prison. That's not a plea bargain. That's a spa package. And every single time, your defense is the
I
same.
challenge
She's
you
lying.
to defend.
She wants money.
I challenge you to defend
don't
your
believe what you
statement
read.
that
You
he got
represented
18
Stop
months.
interrupting me, Mr. Dershowitz.
You're
You
just
represented
lying.
a Syrian
You're just
child
lying.
predator and got him the deal of the century. 2 women accused you under oath. You settled for nearly $1 million. Innocent men don't pay. They go to trial.
That's
You know
another
who
lie,
pays?
not a penny.
Guilty men
You're
with good
lying.
lawyers.
You're
Oh, wait,
defaming me.
you are the good
You are
lawyers.
now
So what
going.
does that
You are
make
now
you?
going
You
to
have
be
spent 50
sued.
years
You are
defending
now
rape
going to be
He
sued
and
for
every
saying I
time
paid
you
$1
attack
million.
the woman who come forward.
You're going to be
You are a
sued,
civil
and
libertarian.
I would.
You're not.
Pierce,
You're
I
not
would
a civil
recommend
libertarian. You
you
are
cutting him
defending the
off
innocent.
when he
You're not defending
says
them.
that I
You
paid
are
$1
a
million.
professional gaslighter.
I didn't
Okay,
pay
Bassem,
one
Bassem,
penny. That's a
Bassem, you've
lie.
spoken.
And trust you instead.
Bassem, you've
Sir,
spoken for a long time.
Like Piers, I
Okay,
did not
Bassem, you've made
interrupt
it-
Mr.
Oh, wait.
You've spoken for a long time.
Hold on, Mr. Uncensored. You're gonna cut him off? This motherfucker over here, Alan. Yo, that's his little trick. I'm gonna sue you. Please, somebody do a follow-up on all the lawsuits that Alan Dershowitz had threatened people over the past. See how they panned out. If he even filed them. Let's see. But that's his thing. Bassem, you lying son of a. I never paid $1 million to settle nothing. Piers, censor him. What? Yo, bro, if the lawsuit stick, let the lawsuit stick. I mean, shit, if he's defaming you, right? But you can't tell Piers, get a handle on your guess. He's lying. Please cut his mic. Do something. Cut him off. No. Let him cook. This shit is funny. Bro, that's all, and that's their only playbook. You know what? I'm going to sue you. And I got a proposal. I got a proposal. I don't know if you guys have ever filed a police report. I don't know if you have, but there's this little carve out where they say they would do this investigation on this, police in question. But if it's something, it's like a deterrent they have. They say if they don't find any wrongdoing of this officer and they have found that you may have been deceptive in this report, then they can charge you. The craziest shit. I don't know if it's everywhere else, but over here, that's how it is out here in Vegas. But they say straight up, if we go through all of this and we find out that you're lying, we can charge you. Now, we all know what countersuits are, right? Everybody can do. You know what a countersuit is. You can sue somebody for, lying on you in court, I guess. Right. Countersuit, right? But for some reason, these defamation lawsuits, it's almost like you can't countersue. It's like a funky way that they say that's like a form of revenge, like pinch me and I pinch you back. I don't know. But it should be an easier way to countersue somebody. It should be. Because when people like Alan Dershowitz come up with these little I'ma sue you moments, people should be like welcoming that shit on and be like, hey, if it doesn't pan out, it should be a law. If it doesn't pan out and you're suing this guy for $1.5 million and you, sir, were lying, then you have to pay him $1.5 million. For a while, I thought that's what it was. But they said, no, not for defamation. Lord, fix it now. And I bet you all this little threats of lawsuits will stop.
Me.
Bassem, you've spoken for a long time. You've made a number of allegations.
There is going to be,
I can tell you right now,
I am going to...
I want Alan
But he
Dershowitz to
keeps
respond.
interrupting me, PIERS. I didn't interrupt him.
Okay,
I am going to...
Let him respond
I'm going to make it very clear.
But he shouldn't be interrupting
I'm going to make it very clear. I'm filing a lawsuit. Immediately, I'm instructing my lawyers to file a lawsuit against him for saying I paid $1 million. What happened is a woman falsely accused me. She admitted she may have mistaken me and confused me for somebody else. She dropped all of her charges. Not a single penny was paid, nothing. And it's all in the agreement, all a matter of court record. You saying that I paid $1 million is going to result in you having to pay me many millions of dollars.
Look at that smile. No, it ain't.
What'd you say?
This is from the New Yorker.
The New Yorker never said anything like that. You're such a liar. I thought you were a comedian. I thought at least you'd be funny. You're just a liar. You're just somebody who is prepared to make any kind of anti-Semitic, anti-Israel statement, and you're willing to lie about it. Now, I want you to justify the $1 million. I want you to justify that I paid $1 million. I want you to justify that. Will you justify it?
No.
Will you justify that I paid $1 million? Where'd you get that piece of nonsense? Where did you make
the New
that
Yorker,
up?
Sir.
You said Hamas is not a terrorist organization?
If you want to sue someone,
you show me the New Yorker and I'll pay you $1 million. You're a liar. The New Yorker didn't print that. You're lying.
Okay,
Why don't we take your time out now? Go online, get the New Yorker, and show the people that are listening, the good people, the New Yorker. You're lying through your teeth. You're a despicable liar, and if you said it under oath, you'd be a perjurer. There is no truth to what you've said, period, and I'm going to sue you.
Oh, come on. You do. Is that what you do?
Finally, I shut him up.
No, you didn't shut up. You're just like cutting me. Mr. Allen, you went from I never got a massage on Epstein to I got a massage from a 50-year-old Russian woman named Olga.
Right.
But I kept my underwear on.
My wife and I both received therapeutic. I received a neck massage back in the 1990s. I have never received an erotic massage in my life. I have never told a misstatement about this, and I want you to show everybody the New Yorker.
That's the funniest shit. They always want to bring their wife in there. I think who just did Howard Lutnick just did that on his little testimony. He's like, no, my wife and kids and the neighbor's wife and kids and my nanny. We all were there. As if that's like like that absolves you of any kind of wrongdoing. Like, bro, I ain't gonna say it, but we know what Jeffrey was doing with kids. Howard, Never mind.
The claim that the New Yorker said I paid $1 million. It's an outright lie. You can look it up right now while we're talking. Show it to the people.
I'll look it up
Show
for
them
you,
what
sir.
you say the New Yorker said.
It
Okay, I'm
is
waiting.
under the
I'm
New
waiting.
Yorker,
Look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It is called for people to
Okay,
search
let's
it.
see it. Let's see it. Everybody
Yeah.
can see it.
It's called
You're
Alan
going to have to admit
Dershowitz,
your lie
Devil's
now.
Advocate.
Maybe it'll mitigate your
by Pony
damages.
Brock, July 29, 2019. You can read there. It's there.
Read me the quote. Read me the quote about $1 million. You can't find it because it's not there, because you made it up and because you're a despicable liar. And you're going to be sued. And if you want to mitigate your damages, then you'll show me the New Yorker. But you're not going to show me the New Yorker, because everybody out there is going to look you in the eye and say, you lied on international television about Dershowitz paying $1 million and the New Yorker saying it. It is false. Categorically false. I'm calling you a liar. You can sue me for defamation. And if you can produce the New Yorker article, you'll win that case. But you can't, because it doesn't exist.
No, sir, I can read it to you right now. I mean, it's there.
Yeah, read it to me right now. Read it to me. Let's hear it.
Okay. Do you have a second?
All right.
I have more than a second. I have all the time you want. Read me a
Look at how Piers Morgan is just allowing this shit to continue. But I want to go and this is what the New Yorker Alan Dershowitz, the Devil's Advocate. Yo, when is this? July 29th, 2019. Wow, Alan.
New Yorker statement that says, I paid $1 million to the woman who accused me falsely and who admitted that she may have misidentified me with somebody else. You read me that right now.
Yeah.
Silence. Silence.
So, dude, it's a big article.
Profound
Wait.
silence.
That's a big.
Dude, stop
Find
it.
me the relevant point.
You find him
Find
that
it for
relevant
me.
point.
We have all the time in the world. Find it for me. Let's go. Find it for me. You can look it up. Google has, we would say, Dershowitz $1 million.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Look it up.
Here it is.
We caught you.
In 2015,
Yeah.
when Jeffrey's allegation against Ghislaine Murdoch and Epstein became, okay. Just before a trial was to begin in May 2019, the amount was undisclosed, but Jeffrey reportedly received a multi-million-dollar settlement. The allegation went in...
Who did?
Wait, dude. Jeffrey.
Yeah, let's go.
Veronica Bell.
So you said I paid $1 million to the woman who accused me falsely. I want you to quote that from the New Yorker. And if you can't, admit you're a liar.
Say now.
Silence. Profound silence.
Dude, stop it. Stop.
Guilty silence.
Dude, it is a... Guys, yes, here it is. Oh,
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You're lying. Silence.
Oh, here it is. In April 2016, the case settled. There was no such settle. With the press reported that the agreement.
What case?
Wait.
Yeah,
The
hold on.
press reported that the agreement included a financial arrangement implying that Jeffrey's team had paid it. In fact, Dershowitz's insurance company had paid Jeffrey's lawyers in negotiation. The parties has discussed a figure of nearly $1 million, with $50,000 going to Dershowitz, which would allow him to claim a payment. The final amount has not been disclosed.
But you know it. A, you know it. Number B,
Dude,
this
it's
had
there.
nothing to do
Well,
with the
got him.
Want to go and,
This
and
had
sue the New
nothing
York
to do
Times?
with the
Sue.
woman who accused me. This was a lawsuit between...
So Alan Dershowitz, I think he's just getting old. So he's conflating two of his multiple lawsuits. I don't know how many where people were accusing him, but Virginia Giuffre, she accused Alan Dershowitz of messing with her when she was a minor. And then she retracted that statement, saying, no, I mistaked him for somebody else, right? And then she went on to sue Prince Andrew or something. He thinks that Bassem is talking about that case. I think. And I think Bassem is talking about something else. With a whole different little girl. But yeah. He's conflating the two cases.
Lawyers, and it had nothing to do with this accusation. Zero. You
So
made
why
up
would you
the
pay
whole story.
Why
The New
would
Yorker never
your insurance
reported
company
it.
pay the lawyers?
They also paid me. There was a mutual settlement where both sides paid
Where you got
sums to each
50,000 and
other.
they got, like, the
Each
rest
of
of
us
the million? That
received
doesn't
payments
sound, like,
covering
great.
our legal fees, and this was about lawyers. This was not about any
Okay,
accusation
you know what, guys?
against me.
I invite everybody to go to read the New Yorker article and see
So do I.
the pattern
read it,
of lying
you
that
read
Mr.
it out
Dershowitz
loud.
has
It's
done over the
false.
years.
So,
Well,
all right,
now
let
you're
me
gonna
get
add to
involved
the
now.
lawsuit.
Let
Now
me,
you're gonna add
all
to
right,
the
let me
lawsuit.
say
Okay,
something now.
Let's get back to the
Alan,
merits.
Alan, I want
We
you-
know he's a
Alan,
liar.
Alan-
We know he's not a funny
Oh,
comedian.
come on,
Go
liar,
ahead.
anti-Semitic. It's the same thing.
All
You
right,
just
let
like,
me
it's
pull it
gaslighting,
back
man.
to the bigger
Why would I
picture.
believe you if you
Let
have
me
like
pull it,
lied many
Bassem,
times?
let me pull it back. Let me pull it back. Alan, I want to just talk to you about something you said earlier, because there's been a bit of confusion about this, I think, in the public domain. You said in the end that the settlement that Epstein made pertained to a 21-year-old and a 17-year-old. But many of the contemporaneous
settlement.
reports about this settlement refer to a 14-year-old girl who Epstein had paid for a massage.
That was not
at his
part of the
mansion.
case.
So can
That
you
was
explain?
not part of the
because
case.
that's
The
what
indictment.
But that precipitated the investigation, right?
Let me tell you what happened. A 14-year-old girl was heard over the phone talking to another friend about whether or not she could get a massage from an older man. That precipitated the investigation. But the investigation culminated not in any kind of an indictment regarding that 14-year-old. There was no evidence of it. And so in the end, the 14-year-old claim disappeared. The only evidence that they were able to prove to get a grand jury indictment was a 17-year-old and 10-month person and a woman in her 20s, an adult who has agency. Both of them in the indictment were called prostitutes. And he was indicted for paying money to soliciting two prostitutes, one of whom was 17 years old and 10 months. The 14-year-old was
Right, so the
never
17-year-old,
part
but to be
of the
clear,
indictment in the case.
legally, okay, but Alan, to be clear, the 17-year-old was a legal was a legal minor.
Of course, and that's why he pleaded guilty to it and went to jail for it. He deserved to go to
Right,
jail
and do you
for a
believe?
17 and 10
Do you
month old.
believe?
Yeah.
It's 10
So
months.
I interviewed one of the legal team on behalf of some of these girls involved in that case, who said that he was offended about the characterization of any minor as a prostitute.
Well, then he should complain to the prosecution. It's what the prosecution put in the indictment. We didn't write the indictment. The prosecution put it in the indictment. They did an investigation. They found out that these were young women who were coming for pay, were being paid money to give massages. They defined that as prostitution. It wasn't us who did that. That was the prosecutors who did that. So that's all.
But when you
he
say he wasn't convicted, okay. But when you say he wasn't convicted as a paedophile, he was though. If you do a deal that involves a minor,
Look,
he almost
you
said
can
it.
quibble over words, but
Quibble. See, that's that shit. That's that Megyn Kelly shit. Oh, it ain't like they were 8-year-olds. They were like 14 and 15 that look older. These people are weird, bro. Even the way he say 17 and 10 months. 17 and 10, don't forget the 10 months. She was almost there. This is weird shit. And I'm sitting here trying to go through this long ass article, and I'm trying to find out if there's something in there that says that Alan. If I find it, motherfucker, I should have did it before I went and did this video, but I haven't found nothing yet. The New Yorker's being clean, but yes, bro, you right now just showing signs of weirdness. Basically, PIERS said that Jeffrey Epstein kept a lot of shit from you, bro. You admitted to it. Like, there was something that you just didn't know. But I don't know. I don't believe you. I just don't. I don't. The way you're trying to gloss over the 17 and 10 month part, like as if she is almost legal, barely legal. You want us to be like, Is that what you're trying to like achieve out of us by putting emphasis on the 10-month part? Bro, it's weird, Alan. Stop.
The medical definition of
Well, no,
pedophile
it's a legal
is
definition,
Yeah,
pre-pubescent.
it's a medical
He
definition.
pleaded. No, that's not the legal definition. The legal definition is underage. The word pedophile is never used legally for anybody who's 17 and 10 months. But we're quibbling.
Ah!
He pleaded guilty to 17 and 10 months. He was guilty of that. It's a despicable, terrible thing. He may have had sex with even younger people, but he was never convicted of that. He was never charged with that. He probably would have been charged with it had he stayed alive, but he wasn't. But let's stick to the facts. He pleaded guilty only to 2 charges of soliciting a 17, 10-month-old and
Say it again.
an above-age person for prostitution. That's what the state charged him with. That's what he pleaded guilty to. That's what the federal government agreed would be the deal that would terminate the federal prosecution. That's what happened. He
But
hated
if you
me
have
for that
if you
deal.
have any
He thought I
sexual
was a
relations
terrible
with a
lawyer.
minor, yeah, but Alan, if you I mean, talk about quibbling, but if you have sexual
Exactly.
relations with a minor, you're a paedophile.
Thank you, Pierce.
No, I don't want
Ah!
to fight with that, because
Ah!
you can call him whatever you want.
He said, no. Fuck you. We're about to make that no long. What do you mean, no? What do you mean, no? You ain't about to fight with bro. You had a get out of jail free card. Like, I ain't gonna say that. You could have just been like, yeah, I hear you. But to sit there and have your creepy ass opinion just slip out like that, which you probably didn't mean to be like, no. That's legal, kinda. The law's wrong. You gotta talk to doctors. They'll tell you the truth. Ew, bro, Alan, ew. You're weird, fam. Something's wrong with you, man. Come on, don't say no when somebody say sleeping with a 17-year-old is still technically being a pedo, right? And you say no? Oh my God.
That's fine. You call him a pedophile, but no medical doctor, no psychologist will tell you that a 17-year-old, 10-month woman who's taking money to give massages is subject to the other person being called a pedophile.
Hey, I'll give it to you, right, Alan? If you keep putting this whole 17 and 10-month-old, and then you try to change it to a willing worker, nigga, I thought minors couldn't consent. Wasn't that like part of it? Like, wait, you're trying to say that she was a worker, like she actually knew what she was getting herself into. I thought minors couldn't consent. Help me understand that one, please, because that's weird. But you act like, Alan, you act like we're talking about an 18-year-old Jeffrey Epstein. Like, okay, if I had an 18-year-old son, right, and he had relationships with a 17 and 10-month though, oh yeah, please don't try to mark him as a pedo, please. Like, bro, 2 years ago when they were 16 and 14 or 16 and 15, it was cool. But bro, we're not talking about an 18-year-old Jeffrey Epstein. Stop. You're weird, bro. Stop.
But let's not get into that. Call him a pedophile. That's fine. He pleaded guilty to charges of having sex for money with a minor. Yes, he did that. And he did much worse than that. And he was a despicable human.
The only reason why he got charged with having sexual acts with a minor and not pedophilia is probably because of his intelligence ties.
Human being who deserves no pity whatsoever. But that doesn't give anybody license to simply lie about what happened. For example, one of the papers in Israel, when talking about Ehud Barak, said he was convicted of having sex with a 14-year-old. No, he wasn't. He was investigated for that, and the investigation terminated with no prosecution for a 14-year-old. Did he have sex with a 14-year-old? I have no idea. Maybe the prosecution has an idea. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. But it's not true that he was convicted of that. Never.
So what is your assessment, Alan Dershowitz, now of what Jeffrey Epstein did? And why is it that no really high-profile American men in particular have been brought to account for what was going on?
Well, one name has been. One of the names that was recently disclosed by Congress people yesterday was Leslie Wexner. And I think it's very appropriate to investigate Leslie Wexner. He went back to Jeffrey Epstein many, many, many years. Let me give you my assessment of what happened. Look, there were real victims, horrible victims, people who should never, never have been put through this, people who are underage. And I have tremendous compassion for these victims. But then there's another category of people, women who are 25, who came back over and over again and received $150, $200. Then they went and they recruited 14 and 15-year-olds for Epstein, and they were paid to recruit for Epstein. These people should also be investigated. They may have been victims, but they were also perpetrators. It's a lot grayer than the black and white of victimization and survivalization and all of that. It's much more complex than that. But there's no justifying what Epstein did. It was terrible. It was awful. I wish I had never laid eyes on that SOB. He's an awful, awful human being. That's the job of a criminal defense lawyer.
I wish I never laid eyes on that SOB. Alan, you laid eyes on his case file, and you decided to represent him. Stop it. The fuck? What is creep? I wish I would. Stop. Now.
To defend and get the best deal. I thought I got the best deal. He thought I got a terrible deal.
Bassem Youssef, what is your wider view about the Epstein scandal and the, so far, very limited accountability for other people involved?
Well, you see, I'm actually like the FBI just dumped millions of unredacted or redacted Epstein files on the public and said, you know what? Here you go. Have fun. It's like a scavenger hunt. Like you expect, like it's kind of like a TikTok challenge. Can you find a pedophile?
Right.
You have the FBI, you have the DOJ, you have unlimited resources, unlimited power, unlimited budgets. This is the biggest sex trafficking scandal in modern history. Billionaires, politicians, royalty, and all hanging out on pedophile island. And the U.S. government response is like, hey guys, let the internet figure it out. What is this? A group project? Are you serious? You want me to do your job? You want some guy on Reddit cross-referencing flight logs at 2 a.m. while he's eating Cheetos?
Right.
Like, you want TikTokers playing a game of Clue? Hey, it was Prince Andrew in the having a massage with the undergirl. What is this? It is not the job of private citizens to figure out clues. I don't understand. Is the FBI too busy to do their job? Here's what should have happened. They should have released the name. They should have arrested predators. They should have hold the trials, like a functioning justice system, right? But instead you give us 4 million trillion documents with no index, no categorization, redactions everywhere, then say, hey, good luck with that, guys. Like, let us know if you find anything. Wallahi azim, not even a third world country dictatorship would do that to us. In third world countries, they would release nothing. Keep us in the dark, like a self-respected dictatorship. But this choose your own adventure bullshit, this figure it out on your own. What kind of service is this?
That's right.
I mean, the government takes half of my money so I can do its job and then sends the other half to Israel. I mean, this is just like dysfunctional, and I'm just like, and my wider view of this, my first time I appeared with you, PIERS, I talked about like how Israel is like a narcissistic psychopath, and it went viral because people felt it. Because you see, narcissists don't just lie to you. They create an entire alternate reality and pull you into it. That's why it's called the narcissist shared reality. The narcissist builds an alternate, highly controlled reality and pulls other people into it. And in that false reality, the narcissists are always, they're special, they're misunderstood, they are victimized. Yeah. And Israel does this on a national level for decades, right? They have told us we're the victim, we have no choice, it's self-defense, And in the same thing now with Epstein. It's a shared reality. Oh, maybe he's a Russian spy. Maybe he is. It's like it's right in front of our eyes, and we have to go through these like mental gymnastics and figure it out. It's right there. Nothing is gray, Mr. Dershowitz. Nothing is gray.
Nope.
Genocide is not gray.
Nope.
Sex trafficking is not gray.
I agree with
Walking
you.
for
I
a
agree with
Mossad
you, and it
all of
wasn't
these
committed.
evidence
Genocide
is
is
not
what was
gray.
committed.
I understand that you are a lawyer.
What's
and you need to
committed in
defend
parts
your
of
client,
Africa,
but
genocide was committed
All right.
many
sir,
times.
Let Alan respond.
Why do you keep cutting me
Let
off,
Alan
Mr.
respond.
Dershowitz?
No,
Why
let
do you keep
Alan
cutting me
respond.
First of all, let's be very clear. Genocide has a
Okay, you know what? I
particular
can just like
definition.
log out because like, I
Genocide
haven't
is
had
not
like a
fighting
couple of
a
minutes to
war.
talk with
Let me.
you.
You're
Right.
allowing me to respond,
Oh,
please.
God.
Genocide is fighting
No, you
a
didn't.
war.
You responded. It's
and
my
take-
turn to speak,
Let
and you
me
keep cutting me off.
let me
This is
respond,
not your
please.
courtroom, Mr. Dershowitz.
Are you going to let me respond?
No, you didn't let me respond.
So here's the point.
Okay.
You're not going to let me
You know
respond.
what? This is just
Okay.
like it's
Okay.
it's
Let me
it's
respond.
useless. No,
Let
I
me
will not let
respond.
you respond
Dennis,
because you didn't
you're
let me
not gonna
talk,
let me respond.
He said
You're not
no.
going to let me respond.
and I will not let me talk. It's just like it's just like childish at this
So
point.
well, we can't continue then. If he won't let me talk, we can't continue.
You
If
are
he
not
wants
letting me
to try to
talk.
filibuster
you see,
me by
you see
his
what
lies,
he's doing, Piers? He
I
is
let you
sabotaging
talk.
the
Now he
interview
wants.
by
Now
consistently
the
cutting
man who
me
runs
off.
this show wants to give me.
So Bassem Youssef messed up by saying the word genocide, and he just going on a little rant trying to figure out how to conclude his point. You don't get to interrupt him just because you disagree with the word genocide. And Piers Morgan, you're complicit. Yeah, stop letting these people interrupt and let him make his point. Let Bassem make his point. We don't care what gaslighting BS bullshit fucking Dershowitz got to say on why it's not a genocide. We don't care. We don't care. It's biased. Everything he has to say is biased. If he's not lying, he's biased. So let Bassem have his little point, and then this guy, Alan, could respond.
Me an opportunity to respond. Will you give me an opportunity to respond? Let me explain to you what genocide means. Genocide is the willful killing of an entire population in order to wipe out the population. The way the Germans and the Nazis took little babies from the Isle of Rhodes, put them on trains, transported them to the gas chambers to kill them, unrelated to war efforts. Genocide is not dropping an atomic bomb in Hiroshima. It's not bombing Berlin. It's not bombing Japan. And it's not what Israel did in Gaza when Hamas hid behind civilians. And Israel, notwithstanding that, they had the best ratio of combatants to civilians of any war in recent times.
83%? I think that's what it was. Something like that. 83% civilians were killed during this whole battle between Israel and Gaza. If that's the best, then shit.
Even if you take all the Hamas figures, it's less than 3-1, probably closer to 1-1. At worst, it's 2-1. Most wars, it's 10-1 or 8-1. So there's not even a plausible claim of genocide. Only anti-Semites and people who are willing to engage in a blood libel are prepared to compare what Israel did defending itself in Gaza with what Nazis did in Germany, killing 6 million Jews, Roma people, people from all countries. Those were genocide. What the Muslims did in Turkey, killing the Armenians, that was genocide. What's going on now in Syria against the Kurdish people, that's genocide. These aren't war fighting defenses, that's genocide. But when a country tries to defend its civilians by killing terrorists who are hiding behind civilians and civilians die, you could call it a lot of things, but the one thing you cannot call it is genocide and maintain your credibility as a decent human being. That is a blood libel to call it genocide.
Okay, you've all right. You've both made your
I didn't make any points. I really didn't make any points.
I'm going to come to you, Bassem, for the Bassem. Yeah, I will come to you to respond. I just want to point out that on the Epstein scandal, what is quite telling is that the prediction markets, which people follow closely these days, Polymarket asked, will anyone be jailed over the Epstein disclosures? It reached a high of 48% at the beginning of the month.
Piers, nobody gives a shit. Do you guys really follow the Polymarket? If you do, then something's wrong with you. Remember, the Polymarket just said, oh, we about to have a regime change in Iran. What happened? All of our fucking injected ass protesters were arrested, threatened to be hung publicly, and now the poly market's like, what? They didn't say shit. What happened? A lot of people were betting that we was getting ready to overthrow the regime in Iran. So even playing with people's lives like this, let's make a bet that Epstein, there would be nobody held accountable. You know what I'm saying? This is America. I bet you we won't. What? That's weird. You guys are weird. Listen to Alan. This is weird. He said straight up, no doctor or psychiatrist would agree with you that sleeping with a 17-year-old is pedophilia. Why? Why won't they agree? They're weird. All of y'all are weird. Bro, just because they have a degree in some whatever field, you mean to tell me that if they say I should drive through that red light, then I should? Oh, right. Their profession isn't traffic control, so they don't know what they're talking about. But when it comes to pedophilia, they know. Alan, please go to bed. Please. Fuck.
But it's now down to just 17%. And the Trump administration did, of course, promise, including on this show, that we'd see many prosecutions. It does seem quite extraordinary that now it's looking more and more likely that nobody will be jailed other than a woman, Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, Bassem, you can have a final response to... Well, we need to see it, I think. Bassem, your final response
I'd like to see it too. I'd like to see a complete, thorough investigation. Anybody who committed crimes, including falsely accusing people of crimes, should be put in jail. And anybody who committed crimes, pedophilia or anything else like it, should be put in jail. And I hope they are.
Okay. On that, we're all agreed. Bassem, final word to you.
I think that Epstein Island showed us that in order to be powerful, you need first to be compromised. And as long as you're compromised, only then you can stay powerful. This is the conclusion of all of this. None of these people go to jail. There will be like a couple of fall guys, Peter Attia, he will lose his thing, all of this, it's important. But the billionaires, the people in power, they will be untouchable. We will not see a single person that's going to go behind bar unless he's not protected.
But they have to be guilty.
Mr. Dershowitz, who
are they? Damn, bro.
Who are they? I didn't even talk about you. Why are you...
Like, calm down. You're doing it again. You're showing us basically that you may be complicit. I don't know. That's why I'm going to put emphasis on maybe, because I don't know. But, bro, if we haven't gone through the whole fucking 3 million files, and people are literally like, well, why don't the investigation be done by the FBI? But they see all the work that the FBI went through, so they seen them names before they redacted them. I don't know who redacted them. Maybe not the FBI, but whatever. Why is it up to you, Alan, to tell other people, oh yeah, who then? Who did you find? Who? Bassem just said it's not his job. It's not our job. It's not our job to go through 3 million documents. It's not. The people who redacted it, they already went through them. They can come holler at us and tell us who. But yes, man, I bet you, what's the guy? The Victoria's Secret guy that they just caught. You probably was defending him. Until there's a smoking gun and he's like, oh, well, I don't know why they didn't investigate him. Shut up. You're weird. So yes, there's probably a lot of people in that 3 million documents that were redacted that need to be investigated. So don't ask this comedian who. Ask the FBI. Hey, ask Pam Bondi, the DOJ.
It's just like, it's so frustrating.
I care about innocent people being prosecuted. I care about McCarthyism. I don't want to see a return of McCarthyism.
I'm sorry, so what did I just say? That,
association.
What did I just say? That
Well, how do we know if there are billionaires who were involved? If there are, let's name them. Let's get the evidence and let's prosecute them and let's put them in jail. But not on the basis of McCarthyism, not on the basis of guilt by association. Let's do it on the basis of real evidence. I'm in favor of that. You and I agree with that.
No one will be punished and no one will go to jail.
Exactly.
And these people will go. When these files have got released, even with all of these redactions, the one thing that should have been done, that all of these people should be now be at least investigated. We didn't even, you have like an FBI director, and you have, you have an FBI director who came out and said there's no sex trafficking, and the email proved otherwise. You have all of the people like, there's nothing, and then the emails proved otherwise. And you have like the FBI director, Kash Patel, who said once, America needs to wake up and prioritize Israel. Don Bongino, second man in the FBI, said like, Israel is very close to my heart. How do you expect truth from these people? I think, though, I mean, they are all like working for a different master, and they're not working for the American people. So I really don't expect anything. None of these people will see a day of investigation, a day of jail.
All I know, all I know is
will be people who are useless or unimportant.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Bassem. I do think that, unfortunately, the Trump administration, before and after the election, made it clear they were going to be totally transparent. All the files were going to get released. We've now had 3 million heavily redacted files released, and there's apparently over 3 million more which are never going to see the light of day. That is not transparency. That is why the conspiracy theory.
They should. I want everything out.
No, you don't.
But that's part of the problem, man. And if no rich, powerful people in the end are made remotely accountable, people will assume they are names that were redacted or never published.
Bro,
but unless you publish the files, they can hide behind the redactions and the lack of publication.
Every name should be published, including the name of those who accuse them, so that if there's a false accusation, the people who have been accused can confront their accusers. Otherwise, it's McCarthyism. That's why from day one, I wanted no redactions. I want everything out there. The only redaction should be for minors, people below the age of consent.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. I appreciate you both coming on.
That's crazy. It's weird. Everything's weird. I don't give a fuck if you feel some type of way for me calling y'all weird. And I agree with Bassem too. I don't think nobody's gonna be held accountable. No, there's too many people covering for him, like Alan Dershowitz. It's crazy. There ain't no way that this person was raped. Trust me, I'm a professional. I look at this stuff all the time. That's the fucking cabal that need to get torn down. Then you got the judge. Oh, yeah. That wasn't in the Constitution. Nigga. So yes, I don't believe that anybody's gonna be held accountable. I think a lot of people should be, and this is just it's bringing a lot to light. So yeah, let's see what happens with this Jeffrey Epstein situation. If I have to myself go through 3 million documents, I ain't doing it. But I'll try to run through some of them.